morning, good morning, good morning. A serious crew. We're back at it again with another fantastic episode of the Serious Gentleman. I guess this is episode number 5. Today, to my right, I got my dude Tombstone underneath him. Yeah, baby. Flap and smack. To his left, my boy, running from ever. GL Squad, stay humble days. Merc Show.
Ayo.
Everybody say what's up. Good morning.
Morning.
What's up? Good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Before we get the first topic out of the way, we're going to talk about what happened, what we're looking into, and getting into all the meet and greet. So fantastic Rocket League 3v3 tournament. Again, couldn't ask for a better. At this time, way smoother. I think it was our 5th Rocket League tournament ever hosted. Prize-winning shout-out to a team Bruz and Slam for doing the finals. Team of Bruz definitely won that, and prize winning for first, second, and third place. Fantastic. And a major shout out to the underdog Slam because they knew they were outskilled, but they still gave it their all. They didn't give up, and as the game and the tournament evolved into the finals, that it just kept getting better and better and better to the point where if it probably would have won another game, I think the tie would have turned. That's how dynamic these guys were. But a major shout out to all the administrators and moderators that were able to put this together. Major shout out to the marketing team because we market the hell out of that game. Moving forward, StarCraft 2, it is lit. I'm talking about it. We have so many people, we don't even know how to start this thing. So if you're a StarCraft 2 player,
dude, I've been scoping it out. I'm like, I'm itching.
Completely overwhelmed with 30 teams here. I mean,
itching.
It's gonna be a blast.
Not to say anything bad, but like Flap and I were like, can we get it to like 20? And now we're like, can we get it to 30?
Dude, like if this was happening like 3-4 years ago, oh man, everyone would be in trouble. I tell you what.
Say. So we're excited to introduce first ever 1v1 tournament StarCraft 2. With the Serious Crew. Stay tuned. That comes up next weekend. ! Battlefy in the chat will get you to our tournament sign up where you can find out what we're running, when we're running. Then after that, we'll be taking a 2 break. A lot of us are going on holiday. A lot of us are going on vacation. There's going to be a 2-week break coming up in July. The first 2 weeks of July, like the last week of June, first week of July, something. It equals 2 weeks. And then we're going to come back strong with not only the podcast, we're going to come back strong with the tournaments because I think we roll into some salt that first weekend. I think we're running into Rainbow Six Siege. Yes, it's coming back. Yes, we're getting salty. Yes, we're getting toxic. Let's all do it together at the Serious Crew. I know that's going to happen. And then right after that, we still continue the salt with Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So stay tuned. If y'all missing some salt in your life, come see us.
I'm so psyched for StarCraft. I can't wait to watch that, really. I'm gonna catch up on all the units. Like I fell behind on the DLCs, but man, I can't wait to watch that.
I think everybody's trying to replay it. Because and for those of you who don't know, StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty is free.
Yep.
So it'll let you play like X amount of co-op missions, X amount of arcade mode or something like that for free. And then it says, okay, now you could get the starter pack, which is I think like $15 or something crazy like that. I was the nerd that paid every single like night $60 and then took like a week off from work every time the new expansion dropped.
Dude, that was me when the main game initially dropped.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like I love
good.
StarCraft. I did. I was a huge StarCraft guy for the longest time.
I can agree with that. So okay, Tomb. So I'm redirecting it to Tombstone. Tombstone's going to drop the first topic, and then we're going to go from there. Just stay tuned. Stay with us. Come join the community. Come be a part of the community. Yes, everybody in here is a serious gentleman, and yes, everybody in here is from Team Serious. Go ahead, Tombstone.
Yeah. Before we get started, I want to take this time to give a special shout out to a couple places too. First off to Team Serious, because you're right, we've been rocking it with these tournaments. The community's growing. Everything that we've got going on with tournaments, shoutcasting, podcasting, it's been fantastic. So huge shout out there. Another shout out to United Vindication, who's been a backbone for me. We're 2 totally different communities, but we're working as one. And the fact that all these people have come together and they get along so well, it's 2 different dynamics, but there's no competition between the 2. And the fact that there hasn't been any issues between the 2 just speaks volumes to both communities. And then lastly, a huge shout out to all the dads out there. It's been a hard year for a lot of us. I know me personally trying to explain to my kids what COVID is and what, social injustice is, and trying to explain that to my kids has been very difficult. So huge shout out to you guys who are doing it the right way and putting in the effort. So from all of us at Team Serious UV here on the podcast, thanks and happy Father's Day. But to get us kicking off, I want to kind of talk to you guys a little bit. This was a fun week for me because I got to see the reveal of Pokemon Snap. It's been 21 years since the last version, and I'm super excited for it. We've seen Last of Us 2. We've seen all these games starting to drop. So I kind of want to ask you guys, and I'll start with Merc, what are you looking forward to in the next year of gaming? Maybe what you're looking forward to that's already dropped, what's going to be announced, or maybe what's on the horizon for us.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to The Last of Us 2. We've been waiting for, I don't even know how long it's been now for that game. And, I've been trying to avoid all the leaks, all the spoilers, everything, because it's been pretty crazy with The Last of Us 2 the past month and a half. But, I'm really looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk. Unfortunately, they just delayed it again. I think that's a good thing personally. Cyberpunk kind of has a not Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red has a reputation for games running pretty well for the scope of how they are, such a large game. And I think it's ultimately the right thing that they delayed it. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what these next gen consoles can do too. I'm really, that was kind of the one thing I didn't know if I wanted to wait for The Last of Us 2 for the next gen consoles, because I know it's one of those games that is just going to look amazing compared to other games. You know what I mean? Visually wise, musically wise. I know it's going to run better on the next gen consoles, but I would say probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to the next year is the next gen consoles. I'm serious. I'm real curious on how they're going to run, how they're going to operate, how big of an upgrade it is from the last gen, and I'm very curious about the price. Most of all.
Same.
Like, they need to drop that already, man. They need to stop playing chicken with each other and just drop it already. Someone needs to just do it. But yeah, I would say that's what I'm probably Skate 4 as well. I've never played a skate game myself. I'm more of a Tony Hawk fan, but
Oh, here we go. And the room just fell apart. Tony Hawk for life. Flaps.
You missed out massively.
I know.
Skate games are the best skating games ever made.
Ooh.
Fuck Sessions. Fuck Skater XL. I'll play Tony Hawk, but disregard that for this conversation because Skate 4.
So you are doing what Taz said. You're just going to yell out Skate 4 and call it good.
That's why I muted my mic.
The cringe was real. He was like turning red and boiling. I thought he was gonna go Super Saiyan for a second there.
Man, I can't even start with you, Flap. I don't know. I'm with you, Merc. I think I'm looking forward to the next gen consoles, but being a homebody with League, League is starting to announce that they're starting to do the sponsorships on the Rift. They're starting to show sponsor logos on the Rift. It's the first time in their history that they've done it, and I think it's a good thing because it's going to. They're already a huge name in esports, but I think it's going to supplant them as a huge name in sports. And I think we're finally starting to blur the line between the two. And they're the first ones that really have done a big sponsorship like this, to where you'll look down on the Rift and you'll see MasterCard, right? Or you'll look down and see State Farm. You'll see State Farm logos all over the Rift. And so that's going to open the door for prize money. That's going to open the door for their tournaments. It's going to open the door for a lot more advertising. I'm really interested to see where that goes over the next year. And I'm nervous too, because if they kill my favorite game, I swear I'm going to lose my mind. But I'm ready and really excited for it.
You think they could have like sponsorships like that? And like, say, for example, Warzone, they have like a billboard of Allstate, like in the city, in downtown somewhere or something like that, Like, I could see that happening in other games for sure.
They did that in Skate 3, T-Mobile.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here we go again.
Ahead of the game.
There we go. One up on Tony Hawk already.
Let it go.
Real quick, we always get asked, and I always forget to re-mention it. What is everybody drinking? We'll start with Merc. They'll go Flap. They'll go Tomb, and then I'll end. What are you drinking?
I am drinking did you say start with me? Did I hear that?
Yeah,
okay.
You're correct.
It's Citrus City IPA. It's a It's a 6.8%. I'm only having one, giving myself a nice lunchtime buzz. It's Father's Day after all.
Yeah.
It only takes one IPA for me, so. But yeah, I already had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm drinking on that now.
Nice.
I am drinking out of our lovely Rogue Energy sponsored cup here. I'm drinking a drink called Award 8. It's bourbon. Bourbon.
I thought he was gonna go more into it. I was like, bourbon. Exclamation mark Rogue in the chat takes you to our.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Speaking
it's
of sponsorship.
bourbon, pineapple juice, grenadine, and more bourbon.
See, that sounds delicious. I'm drinking straight gamer grind coffee. I'm drinking Kill Shot this morning because I can't do anything else. So coffee for me. I stayed up way too late with you and can't do any more of that.
So most of us thought we were 21 last night, this morning, and now I'm on. I had coffee. I had Kill Streak! Exclamation mark Gamer Grind in the chat. But now I have to upgrade a Monster because it was hard. I was hard.
At 4 a.m. killing floor 2 grind is that's a killer.
I hate those nights where you forget that you're not 21 anymore. Like,
That everything hurts. Yeah.
yeah.
I think we were on Flab. You were trying to tell us about the next gen consoles, what you're looking forward to, stuff like that. Before I interrupted, my bad.
Skate 4.
That's all he's gonna say. Today.
That's all he's gonna say.
I'm
If it
curious.
doesn't come out,
What is everyone leaning towards? Like Xbox or Play? I'm not trying to start console war or anything.
Oh,
but,
too late. You started it. Not just like.
Can I just keep
Out of the
saying
two, which one are you leaning toward? Because for me, I've always like flip flop. Like the Xbox 360 generation and the PS3, I played 360. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I played PlayStation 4. So I flip flopped. To me, it matters to like what my friends are playing, what I like the home screen, like how the just pretty much software operates. I see you, Flap. Like it kind of just depends on the console for that. Like I'm not team this or team that personally. So
Yeah, this time is I've always I'm like you. I've gone back and forth Xbox, PlayStation. This time I think I'm gonna sit one out for a little while. I think I'm gonna wait.
same.
If the price point comes down, then maybe I'll jump on the PS bandwagon. But Last of Us 2 is really the only game I'm looking forward to. So we'll see where it goes. You brought up Cyberpunk being delayed, and I think that's, first off, you said it was a good thing. I also agree it's a good thing because what they did with the Witcher series is fantastic. But they are now branching off the Witcher 3 to start a new series, and I'm interested to see how that looks. In a couple. I'm interested to see where they take that series because they have said they don't want to make a Witcher 4 with Geralt.
Yeah.
They want to go a different direction. So I'm interested to see where they go too. And so that's going to be my focus instead of console wars.
A rumor I read was that one of the reasons why they're delaying Cyberpunk is because it doesn't actually run that well on the first generation of this previous generation of consoles. Like the first PlayStation 4s, the first Xbox Ones. I read that Cyberpunk is actually not running that well, so they're waiting till closer to when they release the next gen consoles, so there's less of a complaint, I guess. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds about right. We kind of think the current gen console already reached their hardware limitation. It's time to move on. And I think that's one of the things. So I'm not gonna get a console. I never do. If anything, I would get probably that Xbox service that I had before, the one that lets you play the Xbox game on PC. That's how I was able to play Forza and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting any consoles. If anything, I have a running joke, which is not really a running joke. It's actually true. Every time the new console drops, I'll get the latest like NVIDIA cards. So I'll probably get like a 3080. I always say that. I always ask
that. You can laugh, but he's not joking.
Zandler's always on.
I believe him wholeheartedly for sure.
Zandler gives me a hard time. He's like, "Hey, when you getting the PS5?" I was like, "When does that come out?" And he throws like a random date out. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's when the 3080 comes out because that's what I'm ordering.
Legion also just mentioned in the chat Star Wars Squadrons is dropping, and I know that one's getting a lot of hype behind it.
That gets a lot of hype. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I'll try
Anytime
it
you
for
mention
sure.
Star Wars, man, it shoots up the popularity chain quickly. It's
Absolutely.
Star Wars is synonymous with great things, and I'm excited to see it. I don't personally play Star Wars games because I'll get lost in it, but
I took a break for a long time from Star Wars games because, like, there was a while where I feel like it was a little dry on Star Wars games. Like they weren't, I'm a fan of Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that, and Force Unleashed was great, and then the MMO I never really played, but Fallen Order was great. Fallen Order was the latest Star Wars game, and I absolutely loved that. I would definitely try Squadron again, just being a huge Star Wars fan, probably.
The last one I played was on the PS1, so
The last Star Wars in general?
yeah,
he was too busy playing Skate, man. What do you expect?
absolutely.
I was playing Battlefront 2 was the last one that I played, and I hate how that game died so quick because it had so much potential.
I'm surprised the multiplayer in those haven't taken off a little more. Especially the PvE and even the PvP too.
Well, remember there was a whole EA debacle with microtransactions.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
Surprise, surprise.
that's
Which is,
kind of the reason why Battlefront died
Yeah.
the way it did.
Exactly. It was like one huge Reddit post that like just knocked the game down, and
Yeah.
multiplayer is so fun, but like it's dead.
A friend of
So-
mine plays it constantly still, like it, but it had, like you said, it had a lot of potential. It just was unfortunate the way they handled it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying it was just bad, handled bad, but it's great. Like at what it does, it's good. And then they reacted too late. Like EA it tried to treat that game like it does FIFA, like it does any other sports games like Madden. FIFA is, I don't even know why people don't give enough shit to FIFA, because even though I'm a FIFA player, it has so many microtransactions,
Dude,
But
FIFA
don't-
makes so much money.
so much money off of it.
It's
So they tried to do that same model onto Battlefront, and Star Wars fans weren't having it.
Nah.
See, it's different there because the people who buy all the stuff for FIFA are the same people who buy the football stickers or cards.
So you're judging me now or what?
No, you do you, but we're not going to be friends if you carry on playing FIFA.
I'm going back to Tony Hawk. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I've lost all respect.
Did y'all feel that judgment though? Like I'm not even talking shit about Skate, and this dude just gonna throw some crap like that.
He was looking at you too.
Yeah,
I'm Sweden over here.
yeah.
I think it's interesting that you bring that up about how social media affected that one particular downfall of a game. But now we're starting to see also it's starting to really affect streaming too, because if you do have a following and you mess up or you make a mistake, you're not going to have time to explain it because Twitter is going to explain it for you. And so it's very interesting how social media and how Reddit and Twitter and all of these, even TikTok is starting to have a really big effect on these companies. It's interesting to see how social media is affecting gaming and how the community of gamers is affecting gaming and affecting the direction. That's why, you and I talked about it, not so the price point of the PS5 and the Xbox next gen, it's starting high, but they can't start there. They're going to get killed if they start at the $800 price point.
Oh, there's no way.
Society.
Is that a rumor?
Yeah, the rumor is that right now the PS1 or the PS5 is starting at $799. So
Jesus.
if they
See, I've heard
start
so
there,
many different.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's all rumors and hearsay. And we did this when the last gen came out as well. What they were going to start at, but gamers will drive that price down. Even if the competition doesn't, gamers will do it. Gamers will go start grabbing PCs at that price point, and they'll push that price down. So I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on, how society is affecting gaming and how we as gamers can drive what we want.
Well, for one, I think I don't know. Like you said, if they start that high, they're just not going. It's not going to work out. They literally can't start that high. You might as well build a PC at that point. And I think a lot of people will see that. I think they're going to do what they've done with previous consoles. I think they're going to come in lower. If I were to guess the price, I think the highest model is going to cost $600. That's what I've guessed. And I think this list model will, and it could be even lower. I saw a rumor that the highest model is going to be 500, which I think would be cheap for them. That would, like, if their highest model was 500, they're losing money. There's no doubt about that. Like, you know, for what's in the console, even at 600, they might be losing money. And they've done that before. I remember the PlayStation 3, it was a big thing when they were selling them. They were losing money every time they sold a console, and they were supposedly making it back with the game sales. There's even rumors that with this next-gen consoles that they actually might raise the default price of games, which also, again, I think is a giant mistake. I understand why they're doing it from a business standpoint, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, because I do think PC gaming has become more prevalent, and it's a lot more common than it once was. And I think it's becoming more mainstream than it once was. And I think that has a lot to do with streaming. You know, streaming has just become more and more popular. And I feel like at this point, it's almost like a Netflix or Hulu, you know what I mean? And all these kids, they see, you know, Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Lupo, Ninja, whoever.
No, they just see Merc, dude. Like,
one day maybe. But I just like they want to emulate them, you know what I mean? They want to play what they're playing on. They want their equipment. And, you know, I was watching one streamer the other day. Someone asked, it was funny. Someone asked, like, hey, what mic do you use? And the guy's like, oh, I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm not saying. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I've done that before too. But that was more like a joke.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Turn the beer can backwards, baby.
Yeah, that was like, I'm not telling you that. Sponsor goes here, sponsor goes here.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what the consoles do, because Xbox, you know, they're saying they don't have exclusives. They're saying like their exclusives are going to be Microsoft exclusives, which is on PC and console. I've been a little confused by that. I don't know if they're going to have just straight Xbox exclusive or not, but I think that would be a huge, huge mistake on their part. But I don't know. We'll see.
Going on some of the things that people don't realize how much power we have. Going back to the PS3 story. PS3 story came out when I was active duty, and granted that it was during the holidays when it dropped, like it usually does. And you say people won't spend money. My buddies were on eBay paying anywhere between $800 to $1,200 for the PS3 because it was short. There's shortage of it. So I would like to say that we have the power. We don't utilize it. If everybody says, if they release a PS5 tomorrow and they said it was 700, 800, whatever your limit is, like, to me, that's too expensive. That's a PC. Like, if it's above 600, cut off. Like, no, that's a PC.
Absolutely.
So if they were to say, like, you're telling me like 600 is like that's it, dude. I'm not buying one. I'll probably wait for a sale, blah, 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 and this and the other. If we can all come together, even if as a Reddit post, and say, or nobody buy a freaking PS5, dude, that's outrageous price. We would have to, they would have to drive, you know, we drive the market, that would have to slap a price tag lower and say, okay, now we can sell it. But people don't do that. Look at the video card industry now. Look at NVIDIA and the way they run. People are paying over $1,200 for a video card, for one video card. And those prices had never been as high as it ever. Because I remember like mid-tier 1080p video cards were literally between 150 to 200.
Wow.
Video cards have gone up so much. Like to 2080 Ti, 1200 plus, that's outrageous, but people still pay it. That's the difference. People still keep doing it. You realize if you don't get it out the jump and you wait and you kind of tell NVIDIA, nah, I don't feel like paying 1200 again for another 20 or Ti series video card, they will have to come down on price. But people don't see it like that.
Do you think those prices come from, because like I even know people that have bots set up where they just buy out the market and then they upsell them themselves, you know what I mean? So I think a part of that comes from that as well. Maybe not all of it.
Yeah, you're right. It's already inflated as it is, but then people kind of jump on that bandwagon, and then they say, "I'll go and buy." I know actually people that do that, where they buy wholesale.
Yep.
And then they turn around and sell it for more than what the original cost is. And you know, you got to play the game. And you know, I'm never going to hate anybody for their craft or any kind of hustle they're running, but at the same time, you're not really helping to it. If you would have bought a stock and said, yeah, I'm going to lose a little bit, but I'm going to drive that cost down because now you maintain X amount of inventory. So I'm going to drive the cost by selling it $100, $200 less. I might take a cut, but I'm going to drive that market down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That would be outstanding. That'd be like that Robin Hood we're looking for.
But when we say, on a big scale like that, you say we can't. I mean, we do have the power, obviously, but we don't use it. But then I take a look over at Fallout 76, and it was like the first week everybody was on it, and then everybody said this game is awful. And so it was like immediately we changed the direction of Bethesda, and we really pushed Fallout 76 basically out of the market. And I don't want to see games like that die because I was really looking forward to Fallout 76, but at the same time, gamers will take a stand if what they're paying for doesn't deliver. And, I don't know of too much. I haven't heard many people say like this graphics card or this graphics card didn't deliver what I was expecting. But boy, when games come out and they're not what you're expecting, I mean, those developers just get crushed. I mean,
I'll be honest. I think my 2080 is not really a 2080. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I expect a little bit more oomph in the 2080 card, but I don't know. That's just me.
Do you guys?
It's a double-edged sword, though. Like social media, like you said, like the whole Fallout 76 thing. It can be good. It could be used for good. It could be used for bad. It's definitely a double-edged sword, and sometimes the narrative gets ran with, and then it goes the other way. So I don't know.
We see that happening now, right? Because the opposite side of this is Cyberpunk is having some running issues, or maybe having some running issues, and therefore they're not going to push it because they're not willing to take that risk, and that hurts the gaming industry because I'm sitting here anxiously awaiting Cyberpunk to drop, and it just keeps getting delayed.
Yeah. I'm reading chat.
You were saying?
Not doing it. It's good.
I think it was the Xbox Series X where they came out and they announced the price point and everyone booed, and they dropped it dramatically. Dramatically. Nice one. That was a different. Shit. Dramatically.
There you go. We're learning
Guys,
English
remember
here, guys. We're learning.
Oh dear.
So
I'm pretty sure it was the Series X.
Yeah, I mean, when the Xbox One dropped, even then it was the same way. For like a week, it was 500, and then it dropped down to 4, and then later it was $299. But it's natural that they're going to drop it slowly. But the start point is where I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see where that day one advertisement is.
Yeah.
What is that day one price point? Because that's going to tell us what Sony and Microsoft believe is the coming or is in the future of gaming. So
I'm going to throw my bet out right now. $10 to all of you. $4.99. How's that sound?
9.9.
9.9.
$4.99.
Oh, 4.
Oh. I think it's going to be 6. I think they're both waiting to undercut each other. That's honestly like what it comes down. Like neither of them want to announce it because the other one wants to come in under the other one. I honestly think that. Like I think they both have an idea, but they're just waiting.
I think they need to improve on their designs a little bit because I'm getting it's difficult to stack these things, and now you're making it have wings, and that's not helping me.
I'm not a big fan of the PlayStation's design, to be honest.
Same.
Too far out. I mean,
I think it can be customized coolly. Like I think it could look cool potentially in the future, but like I don't know. I just want it to run well. I don't care how it looks. I'm going to hide it somewhere anyway, so I don't.
I already got a Wi-Fi router. Why do I need a second one?
right?
I love the piece of paper one. Like, what are you? A PlayStation 5?
Yeah, I mean, the memes the first week, the memes were spot on.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
The mini fridge.
As
that shit,
always.
that was funny.
Which one do you want, the mini fridge or the Wi-Fi router? It's up to you. You choose. It's great.
I honestly hate both of the designs. I think they're ugly.
I don't mind the Xbox one. I don't know. Like it's simplistic. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Just as long as it doesn't overheat, we're good, right?
Shit.
Right?
First week, somebody's gonna blow it up, and we'll have 10.
Yeah, it's called the Xbox. At least like it is just like a box looking thing now. You know, it's kind of
With the
like
X on it.
Just call
it's sticking with its name this time at least. You know, like
So, that kind of leads us in. We've had a good time talking about games, but now I kind of want to talk about streaming and communities. We've had a 4-week talk about communities and talking about streaming. So I want to focus on one other thing of this, one other aspect. I want to talk about your guys' favorite moments in streaming. And it doesn't have to be your moment. It has to be a moment that you've encountered. And I want to know, shut up. Don't even start with me, Flap.
I want to go first.
But I want to hear your guys' favorite aspect or favorite moments in streaming.
You in a dress twerking.
I hate you. I knew it.
I've been there too, Tom. It's okay. It's okay. I've been there as well.
I got nothing. I don't even.
I will say I pulled off the dress better.
Were you even in a dress? I don't remember because you didn't stand up. I'm pretty sure that was just like a spaghetti strap.
I had a dress on. I had a bra on. I had makeup and a wig.
He went way further than I did.
I had the wig. I put makeup on. I didn't do the bra. I did just the dress and like a hairnet. Go.
I did a dress and earrings and a necklace. But I lost a bet. Like when you say favorite moments in streaming, that's kind of where I go back to is leading up to the dress stream. I lost a bet. I got into a debate, I guess, with a fellow streamer, a good friend of mine, SR Kicks, and we got in an argument on who could eat the more cupcakes the fastest. And we did it live on stream, had a cupcake eating contest. And little did I know I made a bet with like a world champion cupcake eater. And like I just got demolished. Like, and it was very, very, very hilarious to watch me try to stuff down cupcakes. And going further than that, my favorite moments in streaming are these nights that you get done streaming and you have like a high, you know what I mean? You just feel that that was a great stream. It doesn't happen every single night. Maybe you just even 1 out of 4 nights, but you just get done and you're just like, damn, that felt really, really good. The conversation, the people that came in, you know what I mean? All of that stuff. It's hard to pin down one moment, 2.5 years now. Not so even said it like Gentleman's Lounge. Like it's crazy how long like things have been going on. It's blinked by too. Like
it's crazy. We were having a discussion several times, Toom and I, late night, talking about how kind of piecing everything together. It's like, the believe it or not, the dude that I've known the longest out of everybody. And you can always tell him is Merc Show. Like we've been running and chilling as the other guy. Like we all ran in different communities together. And
I had no idea.
yeah. It's like, so there's other people from other communities, but like the people that know you from this chat right here would say, me and you've been running 3+ already? I don't know. GL Squad. Like that was a long time ago.
Close to that for sure.
And that was when I came back to stream, because I've been streaming on and off since 2013. When I came back to streaming and I decided to do it again and I upgraded my second computer, and I went and started joining these communities. GL was one of the first ones that I joined, but there's also one called GJT, which is now renamed to Party Time. When they were coming up, I know the founders of those as well. And I roll for whatever reason, like I kept like UK people I'd always welcome me like, hey, come hang out with us, this, that, and the other, and met a ton of UK people out there that Party Time or DJT, they were all UK based, and they're like, hey, come hang out with us, come stream with us and all this. But I joined a ton of communities. Yeah. And one of the things that we came full circle, like everybody, like y'all talk about Slim, but like for me, the middle person has always been 2 people. It's always been Merc Show and Chillin'. Yep. And then I met people all the way around them.
I talked to Brosian about that. Brosian and I were in a community like GL, like you said, GL was literally the first community I joined. That was the first one I joined. And Brosian and I even talked about it. We were in a community together that we didn't even know we were together in. Like we talked about it later on. We were both part of a community. We had no idea. And that's how I met Slim. Like it's crazy how it becomes full circle like that. Like I knew you from GL, I knew him from another community, I knew Slim from the same community, I knew Brosian, and then we all linked up together later on. It's pretty wild, and you notice the friendships you make early on, and like people kind of trail off, they kind of end up doing their own thing, or they just kind of stop coming around in general. But then you have these core group of people that you've made like these friendships with, and you stick to that. And it's funny. It's funny that some of your oldest friends now are on the internet.
That brings up a really good point to me, because we've talked about it, and Flap was there the day we created GST. He was in the Twitter chat when we created it, and we had a couple people who were like, we're only going to invite 4 or 5 people at a time, and we danced all around Natso for months, right? Like, we invited Chillin, then we invited Pena, and then we got this guy and that guy. We just never got to Natso. And he and I, the last time we sat down and we drank together, and it's funny you say lifelong friendships, because Natso's family and my family, we've really merged the two. And it's been amazing. And
that's awesome
to think that we can have that relationship built online, and now it's molding into our lives, right? But it's interesting, like you said, that we just avoided him for so long, not purposefully, but we did. And
I mean, it was kind of purposefully.
For you don't like anybody. But and then we all get together in these team series, and we all get together in UV or GST or wherever we are in different communities, even Brozin's community that he's running himself, and we're all there again, right? No matter what venture we start, it's like, I need Merc, I need Brozin, I need Chillin, I need Natso, Flap, and we just all come back together anyway. So it's funny that we're all running like 7 communities, but we're all a part of every one of the 7. It's so interesting to watch these lifelong friendships mold.
Well, that was the main reason why, like, I joined GST. Slim actually hit me up and was like, "Hey, I realized a lot of the same people I do," and and I was like, he was like, "Hey, I got this community GST," and I'll be honest with you guys. When I was like, I don't know. I've been in some groups before. They haven't really worked out. They end up, blowing up or having a lot of drama. And, then I saw who was in GST, and I was like, I joined up, and because I knew a lot of the people in there, the people I knew were just the main people I like to hang out with. I like to talk with. They didn't surround themselves with drama. They were chill, basically, and so that was the main reason why I joined up with GST. And because of that, I was able to meet this guy, or that guy, and then this guy. And so it was really, GST was a great community. It really was. And I really enjoyed the friendships I made there, for sure.
I think the best part, F in chat, stop it. The best thing that came out of that for my family, like I said, is, Natso's family. It's not just me and Natso. It's Chris and Sage. We got, my kids, his kids, and, even in July, we're going to take a family trip together. So that's the kind of lasting relationships that I sought to find when I came into streaming. I did get lost. We've talked about this a few times. I did get lost in the numbers. I did get lost in partnership. I got lost for a little while, but now it's these friendships. I can call Flap at any time. Anytime I need him, I can call him in Discord. Merc, I can call you anytime I need.
And he has.
And yeah, absolutely. And these are relationships that you seek to find. And when we talk about favorite moments in streaming, my favorite moment in streaming so far, it will always be, the very first night when I've met you guys. It's every time I met somebody new. And there are people in streaming that I don't care for anymore. There are people that have hurt me and crossed me and cool, whatever. But I'm not going to go out and trounce their name. It's not worth it. I'm going to focus on the positive relationships I've built. So every time I met somebody new that has stayed in my life, it's that moment that's been my favorite.
Streaming's a lot like real life. You know what I mean? You find people you vibe with, and then you run into people you don't vibe with. You know what I mean? And there's no harm in kind of turning the other way when you meet someone that you just don't get along with. You know what I mean? Like, just brush it off, move on, go the other way. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Keep nodding, Flap. You got something to say it.
I was just listening.
You get along with everybody, though.
Yeah, other than Taz.
Who's Flap? No, I'm kidding. Love you, Flap.
Actually, I lied. You do not get along with everybody. There are some people that you did not get along with, but we'll skip that part.
Yeah,
I guess the biggest thing is what I keep telling people, like, what are you trying to get out of streaming? to me, it's never been to be the next Ninja, and I always say this, and it's never to be the next Dr. Dio. Is to meet great people like you guys here, great people that I've established these long relationships. Going back to Tombstone's point, it's that's what I wanted out of it. And if anything, at minimum, what I always say is, if Team Series was a hub for you to meet somebody cool and like that's your friend now, and it's a friendship you built, then I have done my job. That's all I wanted. I don't care about streaming. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about any of this stuff. The only thing I want to do is spread the word on the community, get people involved, because I met these great people here streaming and playing games. So why can't we recreate that? Why does it always got to be a numbers thing? Why does it always got to be a hype thing? Why can't it just be chill back gaming at its finest?
Yeah,
For sure.
you know, and that's funny, because the one person that I've kind of failed to mention in this is somebody who has paid attention from afar, right? And that's, you know, Zeta's been in chat here for a while. I told a story one night of how I had a high school nickname. My real name's Herschel, and I got called Hershey Bar throughout my entire time in school. Shit drove me nuts. I used to get so mad at people who would call me that. And then as I grew up a little bit, I started noticing, it's just a fun little nickname. And people have different variants of it. But now, anytime I go near his stream, that's what he's going to call me. He just calls me HB all the time. And so, like, I didn't realize he was paying attention to the story, because I told it one night on stream. And when I say things on stream, I guess I kind of don't expect people to take what I say to heart. But he listened, and it's HB all the time. It's always Hershey Bar every time I go in. It's those little moments, man. You don't realize that what you're saying, people are listening. Like, people are really listening. They may joke around with you. They may play games with you. They may joke with you all the time, but they are definitely listening. And so, like you said, these dress streams, man, I can't go into a community without that freaking clip on Twitch popping up all around me. And it's like, will you please let this shit go one time? Just let it go. Let it die. No, okay.
Never.
You know, but it's those moments that we all have so much fun with. You know, last night, my brother Ben, he's 10 years younger than me. We've always played games together, but last night I got to introduce him, and we got to play games with Natso. And we played for, God, dude, what did we play for? 5-6 hours? We played a long time, and he had the time of his life. So bringing people like that, and Pretty and Green here, she's another one of my lifelong friends who, she's got some social anxiety. So trying to bring her along and bringing Ben along. And I'm introducing my family to you guys because I trust you so much. And that's why I've had so much fun in everything that we're doing.
Well, that was one thing I actually noted when you were talking about family last week, is that, you know, it's funny. I keep stream and family like
As separate as possible. Yep.
Pretty much. Like, I have my wife and my daughters on my stream, but like my family, as like, I'll tell them in person, like, yeah, I stream, but I don't advertise it on my like personal social media accounts. I don't advertise it like to my family on social media whatsoever. I try, because like I think about it, if I had a family members come into my chat, I would like instantly get nervous and like almost claim I'll be like, like, you know, I might be saying something about my sister-in-law that happened earlier that day. It might not be a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, so I just, it's interesting. So Taz streams? What?
I was gonna say that too. Like, wait, you got to stream first.
When? There we go.
Called out by the entire panel. The entire panel got you.
Oh, man.
I'm the same way. A lot of us talk about having separate social media accounts. Even I don't even have. I just have streaming accounts now. Like, the only thing that it kind of crosses over, and I think I talked about this last time, is my Facebook account. It kind of crosses over that line. But at the end of the day, like we have, for those of you who don't know, we also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So you can find us on Facebook. Going back to sometimes when I repost stuff, it goes into my personal account, just to try to get that visibility in case those people, you know, I know my friends and family do play things like Rocket League and Siege and Counter-Strike and stuff like that. So maybe they want to jump on a tournament, you know, because all of our tournaments now have prize winnings. So, but that thin line, like, some of my family knows I stream for the most part, but the the ones that do know, they don't ever like really jump on Twitch. They're like, they don't want to create an account. They don't want to be bothered with all that.
Yeah.
So I'm cool on that. But would I kind of be like, no, I don't. I'm still me. I'm still gonna do 100. And still, if they don't like the way what I say, then don't come watch me. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't feel like it should hinder me to an extent because I'm gonna still be me no matter what.
Still gonna be you. Exactly.
Speaking of things that last a long time, Flap said something to me a long time ago, and it stuck, and I don't know why. He said, "If you're offended, that's your problem."
Yeah.
And for me, it's one of those things. I don't know why I listened to it, but I did. And Flap told me one day, he said, "If you're offended by what I say, it's your problem." And I took that to heart, and it's actually helped me a lot because I know a lot of people who do get offended by some of the stuff I say.
To add on to that, I don't go out of my way to offend people.
Liar.
It just comes naturally. Oh,
Yeah.
It just comes naturally.
Skate 4. Wait, what?
Well, like I actually had an interesting experience. Like Natso said, the only personal social media account probably I have now is Facebook. And
Same.
something interesting happened recently. A friend of mine on Facebook, I've known him since high school. He basically put out a status update, says, "Is anybody on Twitch?" I literally just woke up in the morning. I'm all groggy, and I was like, "Oh yeah," I just dropped my link. Right? He literally shows up the next day, and I'm just like, "Oh, like I know who this is in real life. Like we've hung out. Like like, you know." And it was cool because, like Natso said, you know, if you're being genuine, you're still going to be just you. And he knows how I was, and it was all good. And he hit me up afterwards. He's like, "I had no idea you did this." And it kind of got me more open to the experience. Like I've told family I do stream. I don't post links or anything. I don't make it easily accessible for them. They would have to come look for me. I tell them, but I'm like, if you want to come watch me, that's on you. Like you'll have to ask me. But it's a weird thing for sure. I don't know. Like I'm
cool
always scared my mom's gonna pop on or something.
I'm cool with family coming to my stream. I'm afraid of what they're going to take from my stream back to my personal life.
Yeah,
Because I'm a teacher now, so it's definitely
you gotta be careful with that. Yeah,
it's definitely not something I want to have my students seeing me in a dress, right? So I'm cool with them coming to stream, but and granted, I have great family and friends. None of them would ever do this to me, but I have feared in the past them taking something from my streaming life and what they think they see of me and what they think they know of me and putting it back in my personal life, because that's far more detrimental to me than bringing something from my personal life into streaming. Because I mean, I tell people mostly what happens in my life anyways. So I'm more afraid of that. I'm more afraid of them taking something from streaming and taking it out of context, maybe taking a clip off Twitch, taking it out of context and perceiving me in a different way.
I get that. I definitely get that.
But I'm like you. I tell people that I stream. I just don't go around posting stickers everywhere.
Yeah, it's one thing if you post it on social media and it's just a click away. You know what I mean? It's another thing if you're at Thanksgiving and you're around 30 of your family members, be like, "Yeah, I stream on Twitch." Like, you know what I mean?
Come see me here.
Exactly.
So Zeta said something. He said, "I don't want my family to hear me curse like a sailor." Fuck that.
Follows it up with the curse.
My family have heard me say everything you can think of, so I'm not worried about that.
I actually would be afraid if my mom watched my stream.
That's what I'm saying. My mom, if I was cursing in front of my mom, she'd be like, "What'd you say?"
Yeah. I do not cuss in front of my mom. In fact, I'd probably have to ban my mom from chat because she would cuss me out in chat, telling me to get over there so I can get my face smashed in. So
Yeah, I'm the same.
definitely don't want my mom watching my stream. You know, dad, my brothers, my sister, whatever. But the moment my mom watches, I'm in trouble. And I have to see her later today. I hope she's not watching this because she's going to anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I don't care if they watch. I just want them to stay separate. You know, when I'm in person, I want you to talk to Herschel. I don't want you to talk to Toon because that's a different life that I live. So,
My dad literally told me he was watching my stream the other day when I went over to his house. And I'm like, "You didn't say anything?" And he's like, "Nah." I'm like, oh, that's great. Now that's in the back of my mind. I'm like,
Like you're trying to go back through. What did I say? What did I do?
yeah, I was like, I'm like, he's a huge World of Warcraft player, so he was like, I was bored. I'm like, you play World of Warcraft? I'm just kidding.
He's kidding. Don't leave. No, no.
Don't leave the stream, guys.
My parents know how I am. Like if they do curse, they you know, and how can I say this? They know who I am, and I'm a prior service member and everything, and they know my mouth because I keep it 100. But at the same time, do I do that intentionally? Do I go out of the way to curse in front of my parents? No, I don't. However, if they were to come to my stream, they have seen me because my brother would pull me up on their phones or whatever and show my mom that I'm streaming. My mom would just say, you know, that's his thing. You know, he's a grown ass man. You know, do what you got to do. But I don't go out of my way to like curse in front of my parents either. So I'm not going to disrespect them like that. But at the same time, like this is my venue. This is this time where I'm doing things. If you want to come watch me, you're going to hear me. And they already know how I am. So that's the other difference too. They know how I am.
Yeah.
So they're going to come and say, okay, well, we're on his stream. We're on his time and everything else. And he's not being, you know, he's not technically being his person, just being busy or not so. And then he's doing his thing. So they kind of just, you know, chuck it as that. He's doing his thing. But my mom comes watch me. She has watched me born. Like she'll say like hi son or whatever off my brother's account because my brother's showing, you know, my mom through his phone. But aside from that, no, it's not. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna take it. You know, I'm gonna acknowledge that my parents are all that, but at the same time, I'm not gonna take, you know, the too much effort away from the show. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I've had a really hard time since I left the service, since I left active duty. I've had a really hard time correcting the cussing attitude. You know, there's days where I'll go without cussing, and then there's other days that I just say a one word after the next. And sometimes I have to catch myself because I know my kids are listening, and I'm just like, stop saying that.
Oh, I'm like trying to watch myself with that so much right now. I'm like, I can't say these words in front of like. There's sponges right now, man. It's ridiculous. Like,
we told a funny story last night while we were playing video games. I have a 6-year-old girl, or now a 7-year-old girl, but I have a 10-year-old boy, and he was born with autism. And so he doesn't understand social norms. He doesn't understand what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. But there was a day where my daughter cussed, and he runs into the room and he goes, Dad, she just said fuck. Oh my God. You can't use that. But
you can't help but laugh when it happens, like when they say that too. You're just like,
I couldn't stop because he comes in and he's got this enthusiasm about him that he's going to tell on her and he's going to get it out there. And then he's like, she just said fuck, like not the F word. He just says it. And I'm like, but you just said it. And I was dying. I had stomach cramps for an hour. I was laughing so hard that he just came in there and blurts this out. And he's just got such enthusiasm about that word.
The struggle is real, man. The struggle is real.
It is a good word.
I mean, it's very versatile. Yeah.
It all depends on the game we're playing that day.
So we've talked a lot about Father's Day. We've talked a lot about our experiences as fathers. I want to know, Flap, when?
Damn.
Sorry?
I just want you to know that, you know.
Sorry, I think I'm having issue.
Family's waiting. We know you got your fur babies, but we're waiting patiently, anxiously. I love you, but we need a Flap kid someday. It's gonna be grown.
God, no, that sounds like the worst thing.
I started streaming because I had kids.
Keep it 100, man.
I needed a place to hide, so I shut my door. I turned the lights on. Nobody bothers me. Oh, man.
That was great.
Hey, our wives watch this episode.
Gotta keep it 100. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. I started streaming. I picked up really back up because my wife travels a lot. Like my wife's always gone. So what I always say is you gotta take something negative and like turn it into a positive and keep that positive energy going. So instead of me being out there, like also, I mean, Mr. Mom is a nickname that my wife gave me from that movie. But so she's gone. I got all the kids, all 4 of my children. So I have to do everything. So I'm like, okay, for me to relax and still kind of stay at the household and not do anything crazy, let's all video game together. And then it evolved to well, my wife's always gone, so let's start streaming. So that's kind of how I got into streaming in 2013. And even till today, like right now, COVID is impacting travel, but my wife should have already been gone at least 3 times, and weeks at a time too, because that's what she does. Which I'm cool. I'm back here taking care of business, just like and I do work full time too. So I just took that, and I could have gone any other way. It could have gone easily into the negative and everything else. But I told my wife, when she's gone, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Just worry about doing your job, doing it well, and we'll be here. Everything will be taken care of. That's kind of how my streaming thing started.
I know the 4 of us would all like to shout out our significant others because they do a damn good job. I know Sage is with the kids right now. She's done everything for Father's Day for me. I mean, she's really gone out of her way to make things right. But what I will say is that same with Natsu. Like, I want her to focus on her, and I can focus on everything else. So I will stream from time to time. Mostly, I just stream when I can, but I definitely don't sit in here while the kids are just running amok in there for her. Like, I'm always constantly listening to the door, and I'll stop my stream if my kids start getting rowdy. So one thing that I've always tried to tell myself about streaming is don't let streaming overtake the personal life. And the one time I had to take a break is because, it was overtaking personal stuff. So you're right. I mean, I get on these games so I can interact with you guys, but it also keeps me from spending outrageous amounts of money on useless stuff. I'm not going to the movies every 15 minutes. I actually have a game that I play. I play with my son. He's always playing with us. Now my daughter's into PC gaming. Thanks, not so you jerk. It's still family time. And so when my wife is here, we can play games. When she's not here, I can play games with you guys. And it's still great bonding time for me.
I can't emphasize enough how huge an impact Mrs. Merck is on. Like, I stream relatively when the girls are asleep. Like, that's why I stream kind of later on. I start at 9 p.m. usually. And I cannot emphasize enough how much of an impact Mrs. Merck has on my day-to-day life. Like, she's a stay-at-home mom, so she takes care of the girls while I'm working. And then I come home for a couple hours, hang out with the girls. They go to bed, I start streaming. So, like, it's a lot on her all the time. And before I stream, I've said it before every stream, I ask her, I'm like, hey, are you okay? Is it okay if I stream? Like, you tell me now. I'm like, it's perfectly fine. If not, I'll stay home, or I'll stay inside and not stream,
No, I can agree more than that. But see, here's the thing: we're talking about, this morning when we getting on. I have teenagers; they're just now waking up. I've gotten through that phase. Like, I have Sophia. Everybody knows about the Sophie cam. She's my youngest. She's 5. But I have nothing but teenagers after that. So it's easier for me too. Like, even then, I play Sophia in the same room right across from my desk, and I put a camera up, and everybody enjoys her saltiness because she gets so salty on Minecraft, so salty at Roblox. Like, last night, she was losing her mind on Minecraft, and everybody. And some people, I was like, can we just see what she's doing? I was like, yeah, I'll probably get that capture later, like create a scene to actually capture what she's doing on her PC and why she's yelling and doing all that hooting and hollering. But that's a baby. That's it. That's 5 years old. She does basically everything by herself. She's hungry, she's thirsty, she comes and tells me. Back when they were babies, they just cry for everything, right? They cry. Now she's like, I'm hungry, I want this, I want that, and that's super easy. And even then, she has siblings that are way older, so if she wants something, she'll just go to her older brother, I want water, or I want a snack, whatever, and then just give it to her. So it's super easy for me when I stream.
Yeah, for sure. Just now, I have one knocking on the door right now.
I've had a couple of mine. If you've ever watched me just look this way, it's because they're on the door. But I definitely enjoy.
I told everybody, I'm like, eventually, a couple years from now, they're taking over the channel. I'm retiring.
Yeah, that's the goal. They can just have my channel. I mean, my daughter on Twitch, because I gave her the opportunity to create a Twitch as long as I had oversight of it. I oversight who she follows, and she doesn't get to stream. She can come in and watch me stream. And I asked her what username she wanted, and she said Lil Tomb. So she got kicked out of my hair and I'll be out. So it's going to be it's interesting because we've talked about this on the previous podcasts. Is how do we start to transition them into their own streaming lives, and how do we, because you can't once they're a certain age, you can't keep them off the internet anyway. So how do you transition them to the internet, and how do you slowly allow them to see it without fully exposing them to the stuff that's out there? So
I am not looking forward to that.
no, it's already been hard because my oldest son, he's only 12, but he is a diehard gamer. He wants to stream, he wants to video edit, he wants to be on YouTube, and it's really hard to tell him like there's
Is this who I think it is?
Huh?
Is it who I think it is?
Doty?
Yeah.
He's dying to get at it, man. And so I'm constantly having to tell him like, not yet. It's not
Doty's
time.
awesome. Just putting that up.
It's not time yet. And I want him to play games with you guys. I love the fact that he can jump in to a Warzone tournament with UV and be just as competitive, and you guys are just as supportive of him.
Dude, he's awesome.
But I don't I don't want him crying because he got hurt by somebody online. So
Yeah.
I told he was playing on my machine, and I told Tombstone, I'm sorry, dude, if he starts asking for more monitors, I can't help you. I guess I have 4, and he was like playing.
4? Okay.
Yeah, he was like playing all kinds of like videos over here while playing like a game down here. He had like all kinds of stuff open, and I was like, "My bad, dude. He's gonna get used to it." He was like, "I can't live without that many monitors now."
More monitors, the better. I always say. I'm just saying.
You guys aren't making having kids sound fun.
Nah, dude, it's the most rewarding experience ever.
the having kids is fun. It's the raising them that gets a little difficult at times.
Nah,
It's
I
rewarding.
don't. I can't say it without sounding corny or cheesy, but they are the best things that ever happened to me. Like legit, 100%. It's just things. People always say it, and people said it before they came along. Like, oh, just wait till you have kids, everything's going to change. And I just kind of put it off. I'm like, that's what everybody says. That's what everybody says. But when they're there, it's just a totally different mindset, totally different world, and just everything it's just totally different. And in a good way, in an amazing way. Gave me purpose, I would say.
I think the best part of being a dad for me is the fact that not only do I get to see them live their life and be happy, and I get to provide for them, but the first time I got to see them achieve something on their own, right? And you, as a parent, give them life skills. You teach them how to best live their life, the best you can. But the first time that they step out from under your shadow and they do something on their own, and they really achieve something, like Landon won most valuable player for his little baseball league, and it was one of the greatest things ever for me. And now Kendall, she's spelling bees and stuff, and it's really fun to see them achieve something without you, and with you by their side, that's one thing, but the moment they achieve something without you, I think is the most rewarding thing for me as a dad.
And then seeing their face when they achieve that something, like to see how excited they are and how proud they are of it is just, it's heart melting, man.
Yeah.
Are you not like, I did that when I was a year younger than you, suck it? No? Okay.
The cool thing about streaming that I really enjoyed, though, is like I've also gotten to watch Natsu's kids grow up, and we had a very interesting moment the last time we were there. Natsu's oldest son has been relatively closed off to me and Sage, not very open, not very personal. He'll talk with us. He's a wonderful child, and as a teenager, he's exactly what I hope my kids grow into. But he was always shy. And then this last time when we were down there visiting, he came out and started talking to my wife about personal stuff. And when we were leaving, she was crying and telling me all the story about how she's so happy that he's opening up, and now we're all getting closer. And that just adds more to, I want to be a part of Team Serious. I want to be a part of streaming, and I want to be more aligned with Natsu, more a friend of his, because
that's amazing.
That is a lifelong thing that I never could have provided my wife for that without Natsu being a part of this. And streaming has given me that opportunity.
You're welcome.
There's people that have like watched me. This is gonna sound bad, but like my wife was pregnant. We had our second kid. There's people in chat like, "Is it time? Is it time? Is it time?" And like, I had to take a break because we were having a baby, and everyone's just and just today, like earlier, I had my youngest on camera, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, she's gotten so big." People that haven't seen her in like a month or 2 months, and it's crazy. It's community. And that's what it is. They see your kids grow up. They're part of the family pretty much. You know what I mean? And that's what you get out of streaming. And it's one of the draws for sure. One of the biggest draws is that you get those connections.
What, Flap? You don't get connections?
No, I'm just being fucking blinded. The sun's decided to come out. I've got my blind shut, but it's not helping.
The sun is coming from that side, but it looks like you were looking at Merc as Merc was talking, and you're just like,
It worked out really well. Like, what the hell is Mark saying? Is what it looked like.
what the hell's wrong with this guy, man?
I sent him a DM about how much I hate skate. No,
Oh, wow.
You ever do that, I'm removing you from everything in my life.
We're laughing, but he will remove you. It's okay. I've never played, so whatever.
I have.
If you guys
now I'm
noticed my head's very red, it's because it's 1,000 degrees in this room, and I've shut the window because it's very windy.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Is that
That's
a
how-
norm? Like, UK not believe in AC?
No, it doesn't normally get hot enough.
yeah. You just
when I lived in Pennsylvania, most houses did not have AC, so I feel you there. Florida, it's kind of necessary.
yeah. We live in Texas, and if you don't have AC here, you're
You're dying.
just done. I'm sorry, I don't get better, England. Like, come on.
We're being world conscious. We're looking out for the earth, unlike you.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Mm. Hold on a second, I just got to wipe my face.
When they lost in 1812, they lost the right to air conditioning.
I didn't hear that. I was wiping the sweat away. What did I miss?
Great.
That's great.
That was funny. Oh man.
It'll be all right, Flab. Don't worry about it. I was just, yeah.
I'm going to have to start doing these naked from the bottom down.
Please,
do you?
because you stand up a lot. Man.
You don't do that?
You're not doing that now?
I won't stand up then. Never mind. Sorry.
I don't want to.
So, do any of you remember when we did a, was it Drawful night or the Jackbox games?
God, the chat box games were so much fun.
Yeah, I hosted one and I was in the suit and tie.
Yeah, and the shorts.
No, for the most part of that, I was naked from the bottom down and I'd been drinking it. And the initial plan was at the end, stand up, throw the cards I had away, and then walk out. Somehow, Jenny made me pull them up midway through without anyone noticing.
What?
These are things that you just don't know when you're watching people.
Oh man.
I want to
So you
reassure
have-
all of my viewers I've never naked.
Same.
So
No comment.
Well, you saw me or what? What happened? Who's asking?
I may have casted a tournament naked, but I have not streamed naked.
No, stream. No, I have a hard time as it is coming back and turning on the camera to stream. I haven't really been feeling it. I did it a few times, but I haven't really been feeling it again. I'm kind of in that mood where I don't really want to stream.
Same.
Maybe being naked will be a confidence boost. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Let's all do it now. Come on.
We have AC. Sorry.
yeah, we got AC. We don't. It's not a joke. It's just cold in here. Okay. These are the kind of moments. I mean, we don't plan these podcasts at all. I mean, we normally I'll come up with one, maybe two topics to throw out there, but it's all ad hoc. And these are the kind of moments I live for because, oh my gosh, the things I've learned about Flap in my time, I never wanted to know. This guy has done some. I just opened. Well, he can't open the window. That's what he said. It's too windy. So.
Fucking Mozza, man. Come on.
Keep up, Roger. Come on. And not so fought your girlfriend for like hours last night, dude. It was awesome.
The siren. That's his girlfriend.
I mean, these are just things that when you stream for so long and these experiences you have in life and even the military, just getting around and sharing these experiences, it's what I live for. I love hearing myself talk too, but getting
Now we've gotten to the root.
shouldn't have said that one. I mean, it is what it is. I'm done. If not, I'll talk for an hour.
I have a question. You know, I'm not ex-military, but I know you guys are. And, you know, one thing I've noticed since the beginning of me streaming is a lot of military guys and girls I've seen have taken up the streaming hobby, so to speak. And I'm curious, do you guys think there's any kind of, like, is it just popular in the military? Do people talk about it? Or because I feel like I've seen a lot of military, a lot of ex-military on Twitch and in Twitch. And is it talked about in there, or is there any kind of correlation between the two or anything like that?
Not so I'll let you go first.
Typically, well, I can only speak of my service and I can only speak of my branch, but so I was Army, and typically we don't like to deal with a lot of civilians, so to speak. And there is, so going back to your other point, so there is two things towards that. Like if you're still under regulation, you're not going to stream with your uniform on. And you're not going to say like your rank or your unit. But you can say that you are still currently serving, or you can say that I'm a veteran, you're previously served. But there's military gaming leagues. I know Toom and I belong to the same one. Same thing with Slim and Ragnar. We belong to MGL. So there's organizations that do stream and do put emphasis on that service member. And MGL is one of the bigger ones, Military Gaming League, for those of you that don't know about it. So there's a big emphasis on making service members, including prior service members, get on esports games in general. I know they have, like, they started a Dungeons and Dragons team on MGL. They also did, like, they have a huge Warzone community. They have a huge, anything BR that, you know, just, it's huge for them. But just for that, they have like a league team. They have all kinds of teams. So it's not out of the realm to see it. And going back to your point, there's so many organizations that do charity work. Like one of them is called Stack Up. And so veterans say, well, how can I help other veterans? And we connect at that level.
That's awesome.
So they decide to take to streaming and then start these fundraisers and these charity work and stuff like that. So I belong to some of those as well. Same thing with Tombstone, and we're in there. And to be in them, to be honest with you, to be in them, you have to go through the whole process. Like you have to provide your all your valid documents. Like there's a whole process. Like I have to go verify my DD-214. They wanted the latest copy. So like everybody in that chat has been approved because they went through the correct legal documentation. So people would say, well, how do I join that? I don't think you can if you're outside a service member, because you need to provide like your actual valid documents for it. I don't know if you know anything else, Tombstone, but MGL requires you just to like be approved through that process.
But even going all the way back to GL that we were talking about earlier, the head of GL was military. Like,
yeah, it was Canadian.
Black Attack, yeah.
So, you know, from my perspective in the Air Force, there's two parts to this. First off, when I first joined the military, the world was huge, right? And what I mean by that is when you deployed, you were separated. You were completely separated from family and friends. So when you deployed, life sucked. You didn't talk to family and friends. You maybe got a phone call or two in, and the infrastructure wasn't there. But technology, Skype is the big one, has brought the world and made it so much smaller. So when you deploy, now you're seeing your kids every day, right? Or every other day. You know, you get an opportunity to see your kids. But now streaming has made it even smaller, right? I get to see my friends from all over the world when I'm streaming, or you guys are streaming. You know, I have a buddy in UV, King Clover. He's a lifelong friend of mine. We went to basic training together. I get to see him when I stream, and you know, when he streams, so I get to see him and his face. So that's nice.
That makes sense.
But the last part of that is what Natso said is it's a lot about drawing attention to a cause. We hear 22 a day all the time, and it is sickening. It makes my blood boil even while I'm talking about it, to hear 22 people a day take their lives because of what? I mean, it's awful. The world around us is so terrible. So I know for me personally, when I do a charity stream, it's going to be military oriented because I want to draw attention to that cause. And if I don't care if every single military member around streams with me, there needs to be attention to that cause. And it's often forgot about because people are like, oh, well, they're soldiers, they can deal with it. Well, that's not true. These guys have gone over, they've seen horrific things, and now they're coming back to a society where that is frowned upon. I mean, they go over and they defend with their lives, and I didn't do it, right? I stayed here in the U.S. and I flew drones. I didn't go over there. But these people go out and they fight and they see these horrendous acts and these terrible things, and then they come home and they're outcasted for it. But streaming allows you to bring that together, and now we have that sense of community together. MGL is fantastic. They're a wonderful organization. So are some of these others. But like, I want to be where I feel comfortable, and now I can be in my veteran community, and I can slowly start to work my way out to these civilian communities. But I want to feel comfortable, and now veterans feel comfortable doing it, so they're going to keep doing it.
Thank you guys for your service. Also, by the way, I just want to say that. But no, that makes sense. I get that. That really does make a lot of sense.
Because we're all catching up with chat here. Yeah, I'm like looking at chat, trying to catch up on the last comments, and thank you for those.
Yeah, Squid is another vet, and he said it the best. It's just easier to connect with vets this way, and you know, like I said, it's easier. So
yeah,
it's good.
Makes sense.
It's easier to connect with each other. It's easier to have these discussions. Like Toom and I, my wife, and his wife, we all experienced together. Was you're married, you experience it together, right?
Yeah.
So we sat down and had conversations that I couldn't say I couldn't probably have with you or Flap. Like, if we're keeping it 100, we connected at a different level with that veteran, and then we start telling our war stories, and we start telling, our experiences, but at a different level. Like, I don't think I can. And not to say that I wouldn't trust a certain person, but like, we connect at that level automatically. You know what I mean? Sense. Like, so we said this is a time that all of us can kind of finally kind of like digress and kind of like, hey, dude, so when I was I did 8 years, and this is what I did, and this is where I was at. And come to find out that like Tombstone and I kind of missed each other during active duty. Like, we found out he was all like, he was at the same spots that I was at a different time, and we just have missed each other. And I was like, dude, I was there, and we did this and did this, and we started explaining these areas. I was like, yeah, and I was like, I was there, I was part of setting this up and doing this, and it was crazy and it's interesting. And we got to that root level, and then we started getting into the neat and greedy, and started getting into the, well, I haven't said this to anybody, I haven't talked to anybody about this, but like, we cherish those moments, and that's the kind of connection we try to get with the rest of the service members. At the end of the day, we all serve together, and everybody serves differently in the sense that is your service, that is your experience, and don't take away from that. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. And I would imagine that would help you guys, get over anything you may have experienced or seen or anything like that. It helps you mentally to have some common ground there. I get that for sure.
We've had interesting conversations off stream, right? We've had some people, I'll say Merrick actually brought it to our attention one day. He said, how do you, and I'm not going to put the spotlight on you, Merck, but when somebody says, thank you for your service, how do you respond? Right? What's the appropriate response? And I've always been a thank you and move on. I don't want to focus attention on it. Because I can start talking about what I did and people are looking at me like I'm stupid. But when I sit down with Natso and his wife, I can tell them what I did and it clicks, right? They understand. And it's not for lack of trying. Flap and I've had many, many talks about my military service, but there's still a disconnect. Just like there's a disconnect between UK and US society and our cultural norms, there's a disconnect between veterans and civilians. And you try your hardest as a vet to just leave it behind, or at least I do. I try to that's who I used to be. I'm not that person anymore. But if I do that, then I'm expunging 11 years of my life. Like, now I might as well be 150 years old instead of 160. So it's hard. Definitely it's hard to be both at the same time.
Makes sense.
It's I will say, as a civilian, it is difficult to know what you can and can't talk about. I know it depends on the person you're talking to, but I would never ask either of you anything about your service, because I don't truly know how you feel about it, so I'll never push those buttons.
Which is brilliant on your part. It's
very brilliant.
Awareness on your part.
Yeah.
But there are some people that just don't know those boundaries.
So there's some people that don't know the amount of disrespect. You know how many questions, the minute I say Army, everybody thinks I'm infantry. I was never fucking infantry. But the first fucking disrespectful question you can ask a service, have you killed anyone? Like that is killing anybody is not a natural thing. Don't
why
ever
would you
ask.
want to know about that?
Dude, why would anybody ask that to begin with? You know how many times I've
That's
gotten
what I'm
asked that?
saying.
That's so disrespectful. Like people have a lot of demons, and there was a lot of deployments, and there was a lot of shit going on. The last thing you can say is ask that type of question, but you realize that typical regular people ask that so many fucking times.
That's crazy.
And they're clueless. They don't understand how badly it affects you as a human. It's not a natural act. We do it for a reason. Those reasons are there, but they're our own. And Natso said it perfectly. My service is mine. It's not his. It's not his wife's. It is nobody else's service. Their service is not mine. We did not share the same experiences. We are not the same people. We did different things. And I'm at that point now where I'm having to deal with the fact that I've killed people and I've taken lives, right? I have to deal with that as me. I can talk to you all day about it, but you can't help me. Because when I lay down and I go to sleep, that's when that demon shows its face, not when I'm awake. And so I've had young kids, I've had old people, I've had everybody in the spectrum has come up and said, did you kill people? Did you fly planes? What did you do? And it is an immediate turnoff.
I can't even imagine it blows my mind that even Squid saying it, I can't believe people would ask you something like that.
It's like you can come up and slap me in the face and you can ask me that question. I'll hate you more for asking me that question. It is a slap in the face every time somebody does it, but I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've heard that question. Pardon my language, I fucking hate that question.
I think everybody hates it. I think everybody hates it.
I'm not even in your shoes and I hate it. Like I can't even believe someone would be that
I'm with you. I turn around and I walk away.
Same thing. I don't even respond to that, but it's one of those things where you have two types of responses for that. The person that are most of us that look at it and then kind of say, you know what, I'm not going through this. And then there's the other dude that will say, I have X amount of confirmed kills, but those are usually crazy. Like I say crazy, but those are usually infantry dudes or like ranger guys or like people that are just like, like they get a hard on to tell you how much, and they kind of ruin it for the rest of us, so to speak. But like being Army, I always had those guys that were like mad infantry or went to ranger school and stuff like that. And they'll tell you, I have X amount of confirmed kills. Like who the fuck, why would you say that? Like, even to me, like I'd like, keep it to yourself. You might talk to your ranger buddy or you might talk to your infantry buddies, but like that's not something you need to like divulge to the public.
Yeah.
And those are the two responses you'll have. You'll have that one dude like gets a hard on off of it, saying how many confirmed kills he has, but then you have the rest of us that are like, we're not ready to have that conversation, then we just walk off.
There's never like an in between.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, man, you have to be so comfortable with I don't even know how to explain the psychosis of it. I mean, you have to be downright in love with what you did to be comfortable talking about that. I come home and I see my kids, man, and there's things I did and I look at my kids and I'm guilty of it and I freaking hate it. And I did it for a reason. I know why I did it. I know why I did it, and I've settled with that. But I'm not comfortable with that conversation. I'm not. I'm comfortable having this conversation and talking about the injustice of it. But the moment we start talking about confirmed kills or why did you do this, and that's almost as much of a slap in the face. How did you feel about it? Well, that's not your business. that's for me and mine. And until we know each other, like Natso and I've gotten to where we will have this conversation together, right? He and I have sat down over drinks 10 times. We are now comfortable having this discussion. But some random Joe off the street, don't you dare ask me that question. Don't even come close to it.
And kind of coming back to that conversation, I know I can speak for myself. I need a few drinks to even start talking about it.
Don't even stop. Yeah. Let's get
Like-
drunk.
Like even then, trying to remember certain things, I'm like, nah, dude, I get the bottle out. And I say that kind of jokingly, but me and him already know, like if we're gonna have this conversation, we need to get a couple shots in. And I'll bring the bottle over in the shot glasses. Like if we're really trying to go into this,
Things up, baby.
yeah,
We've done it. We've started these conversations kind of like we are now, where it's just one question, and then we spiral down into this loop of hell. But right before we start, and Natsu's great about recognizing it, he'll start pouring shots. Next thing I know, I'm drunk and we're talking. It's great. And then there's beard touching, like Groovy said. And it gets a little weird. It's fine.
Hey,
hey,
Rick,
I felt a lot of judgment in that beard rubbing, beard touching. Okay, I need you not to sit here and judge us so hard. Okay.
I don't even have a beard, guys. Like, I have a beard because it's not there.
you can always pretend after a few shots.
It's funny because Natsu's oldest son will rub it in my face. He's got a full man beard. I mean, he's as grown
16.
up. 16.
16 years
16.
old. You were one
He's
of those
been-
guys.
He's been having one since he was like 13.
Bro,
And I always tell a story where my son come up to me. My son's in JROTC, or right now Marine Corps JROTC, but a year ago or two, he came up to me before I moved. He came up to me in November. And he's like, "Dad, are we doing no show in November?" I was like, "What you mean we?" I was like, you're doing it at the time. He was doing Air Force ROTC. I was like, do you need a shave? What do you mean? You can't even do it. You have to do like uniform checks every week. You
Yeah.
have to shave. He's like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's so funny. His wife noticed that I was kind of touchy about the fact that, man, I don't shave this. Like, I don't have to, ever. But she noticed how touchy I was about it. Hurts my heart, gets a little emotional. So we're talking on stream, and then we're driving away from him, and she sends me a picture of her oldest son's beard, and just hit my heart, just right. I can't stand that, man. Like,
He
leave
was
me
showing
alone.
up a little bit.
Yeah, it's bad.
I was all like,
it
she was like, did you see what I did? And I was all like, oh, that's fucked up.
See, it's just,
If I shave my beard, I look like I'm 15 years old again. Even with
Same.
balding, like hairline, like I still look like a kid. I'm like,
Bro, with my beard on and let my hair grow up and all my gray starts coming on the side, and then they'll see my boys and we all go to the store together, and everybody always assumed that the oldest ones are mine from a previous marriage. I'm like, I am not that much older. Y'all need to chill. Oh, is the three oldest ones yours, and the little ones between you and your wife? I'm like, no, like we're only a year, like it's only a year difference between my wife and I. We're like, I'm making it seem like I'm super fucking old.
that's funny.
I'll say one thing about Sage. She does look 15 years younger than I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's done
Mhm.
it, but the gray and everything that's happening with me, and she looks at least 5 years younger than me, but she's not even a full year younger than me. But I think that those questions are really funny, especially knowing your family, because I laughed.
Cheers to all of us marrying up.
Same, yes. And Flap will be.
Yep.
There you go.
At
He's
some
very
point,
way up.
maybe.
Don't say maybe. Shut up. That's
Oh,
only
I wouldn't say way up. Christ, come on.
way
Give me
up.
some, give me some respect. Look at this.
Top shelf up. Like top
Ah.
shelf up. Yeah,
Oh,
look
fair
at you. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, do you see that mug?
I'm here, wife's there.
Yeah. Way up. Way up here. Well, Latina jeans, you're right. Like my wife looks way younger than I am. Like I shaved the beard off and then I finally look like a kid, and that's because I trimmed this down because I was looking all.
It's funny because I never would
Right.
grow this. I never had the confidence to grow this until I talked to Flap. I
You're
would
welcome.
not grow it. I shaved every day because I was used to my military look. So I would shave this. I'd have the buzz cut. And one day I talked to Flap and he's like, just try it. Try it for a month. And so I let it grow out. And for 3 years now, I've kept it.
I talked to this one guy that saw his beard, and I'm like, I want that beard. So I went up, like random photographer at a wedding. I was at a wedding. I was a little. I might have had a few drinks in me, and I went up to the photographer. I was like, "How do I get that? I want that." And he was like, "You just gotta let it grow." He's like, "You might hate it for a couple months. You're gonna look ugly as hell for a couple months." He's like, "Just let it grow. Don't touch it. Don't do anything to it. After that, hey, it's easy. It comes easy now. Like, I guarantee you, Tomb, if you shave that all off, it'd be back in like 2 weeks, easy.
Can it grow this? Because I'd love
I was gonna say that. He's like, this isn't his problem. It's this right here.
it won't connect.
Even if you let it go for months at a time.
No, it won't connect.
I have not shaved this since COVID started.
Wow.
Those are genes. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I've already trimmed mine down because of COVID like twice, 3 times,
yeah.
I think. Because it was looking like it was bad.
I just trimmed mine yesterday.
No, I don't have to. That's what I'm saying is like it doesn't grow in enough to where I need to trim it or shave it. It just sits there and
It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
it's less maintenance. You know, I try to look at it from a positive.
it's less maintenance. It's not itchy because I don't get anything down here.
There
I
you
don't
go.
itch, you know,
That's me right here. Like, I don't have to do anything right here. Like, I'm good.
see, look, if I move my headset back, now you see my headset sits perfectly where I'm thinning out, so I don't have to worry about it. I try to hide it the best I can.
As soon as it started going back here, it started coming in here. I compensate.
Swap places.
That's how it started.
Well, I'm lucky though. I mean, outside of my legs, my arms are not hairy. I don't have a lot of hair on my chest. I don't have any hair on my neck. I'm good. So you gotta keep it. I'll keep my low maintenance self.
He's like double checking, like he doesn't already know.
I don't even have to say anything to make things uncomfortable.
It's like, I got hair there. Cool.
Yeah. I only have a beard because I'm lazy.
Imagine that.
Mine was initially like kind of to say I'm done with the service because it was a daily shave, like Tuso said. It's a requirement. You shave every fucking day. Mine was kind of like that liberation where you quote unquote threw the razor away. And when I first left and I finally hung up my uniform for the last time, all this came out. I was like, yeah, baby, like I don't have to shave every day. And then since then, now it became more of a lazy thing. Like, fuck, I don't even want to trim it.
I worked at TGI Fridays, and our manager was a stickler about it. I could never grow any type of facial hair. Like, one time 2 or 3 times actually, he handed me a razor and shaving creams. Like, go in the bathroom. If you're working today, go shave. Like, yeah, they were super strict about it there.
Wow.
Is it because of food handling? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I was a server, so yeah, it was.
Okay. I was like, that didn't make any sense because I've gone to different places to eat and I've seen dudes with beards. I don't.
Well, the thing is, like their thing was you had to keep it maintained, and apparently mine was I was trying to grow a beard, and when you're trying to grow a beard,
it doesn't look maintained. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I got it. But like, they didn't even give you that time frame to let you get it to that point.
I was a college kid. They were like, "Go shave your face. Get out of here."
Somebody tried to do that shit at me when I was working at a data center. Some dude tried to tell me that I need to shave, and I'm like, "Why? Like, we're not handling food. Like, I'm not dealing with patients. Like, literally dealing with cabinets of wires." And he was like, "Yeah, but you need to be presentable to who? Nobody's here."
Are you afraid like a hair's gonna fall into a hard drive or something? Like what?
Come to find out, that was his thing. So then I finally went up above him. I'm like, why is it every week he tells me to shave? Like, why? And then he was like, why is he doing that? And then the manager was like, oh, he's starting that bullshit again. And then he went, I'll have a talk to him because he was a supervisor. He's like, I'll go have a talk to him. I don't know why he has every male shave. Like, leave him alone. And he finally left me alone after the manager talked to him. But I was like, what was his thing? It was like, he was prior service Army. He just wants everybody to shave for whatever fucking reason. He's like, oh, that makes sense. But I was like, like, we're in a data center. Like, there's nobody here. No, he didn't have a beard. He shaved every day.
Maybe it was like a power control thing. It was like, I'm showing my dominance by having a beard. And you can't.
I didn't understand it at first. Like, why is he keep telling him to shave every week? Like, what's his problem?
Power trip, man. So, you said ex-military, so maybe he was just trying to keep that.
I don't know what he was trying to do because even I don't do that to anybody. He's like, grow your shit out if you want to, just as long as you're not handling food or handling patients.
Yeah.
What do I care? You know, like, but I'm IT, so you see these dudes with these big old beards on a keyboard, but like, he ain't harboring nobody though.
Oh yeah. IT, I feel like, are the scruffiest.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't got to see anybody. I don't got to talk to anybody. All
Scruffiest and
email-
unwashed nerds. Oh my god, you go so many meetings with these developers. They're so fucking intelligent. They can code anything. But I'm like, can you hit a shower with a bar of soap? Can you do that for us?
Just one time.
You see the camera.
Yeah. Every single time
Go swimming, and that helps. Just
I had two developers at every time when I was going into the office that I was like, who's going to be in the meeting? And they said that student, I'm not going in there. I was like, why? That dude don't shower. I don't know what the fuck his problem is. I was like, I'm not going in there. And then sure enough, I wouldn't go in there. Just like, somebody's going to have to give me the minutes later and I'll figure out what we need to do. But I'm not going in there. Like, I don't know what his problem is, but he needs to fucking shower.
Have you guys gone to a convention, like a streaming or gaming convention ever?
Yes.
Con
Yes.
every year.
Yo.
And yeah,
it never fails. Like anytime I go to one, I always find someone that's like, "Damn, man! Like, come on!"
that's what they shout at QuakeCon. It's like, it's been 3 days. Go fucking shower.
Yeah, like,
It's a tradition at the end of QuakeCon to just start screaming at people to shower. So.
I
The
went to
first
Guardian
Tuesday-
Con last year, and I was just like I saw people talking about it on social media. I'm like, "Is that really a thing?" And lo and behold, I get there, and I like first line I get into, I'm like,
Oh boy. Yes. Yes. And same thing happened at DreamHack because those are my two ones that I go to DreamHack and I go to QuakeCon. And the first day waiting in line, it's okay. You can still smell some rancid people. But 2 days into going on the third day of the event, oh my God.
It's terrible.
It is
not good.
It is just nasty. Like even sticks of deodorant don't help. This is funk. Like you need to scrub the funk off. Deodorant doesn't help. Deodorant, it's like you get a whiff of a little bit, but like a bunch of funk behind it. Like that's not enough.
Yeah, it's
I try to put it on like Guardian Con's in Florida, so I'm like, well, maybe they're just not used to Florida humidity and like, you know, because you become sweaty as soon as you step outside. I don't know, but then like the convention's held at a hotel where everyone's staying at as well, and I'm like, nah, you guys don't have no. You're not going outside. It's all AC. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
Shower.
it's pretty awful. All right, let's go ahead and start wrapping up with some final comments. Tell us where you're at. Tell us where we can find you. Tell us what you're looking forward to, and we'll end this thing because we're getting there towards that 2 hour mark. So, Mark, why don't you start us off with where we can find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Merc_show. I play a variety of games Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 p.m. And then I do a special segment Sunday Morning Classic where I play classic games from my childhood. Twitter, same handle. Instagram, I don't really use, but I do have a handle there. You can find me in Team Serious or United Vindication Discord. I hang out there, and all these are good people. And yeah, that's it for me.
Flap, go ahead.
You forgot to send me the script.
He did that last time. He's like, YouTube.
I don't know, man. Twitter, sometimes I post funny things on there, probably not.
They're not funny. It's cool.
They're not funny. And here, every Sunday.
Yeah, same for me. You guys can find me here most Sundays, well, every Sunday so far, and I'm going to keep doing this. On Team Serious, I'm casting and shoutcasting all the tournaments as much as I can. Really looking forward to that StarCraft 2 tournament and getting in there and casting that. But beyond that, you can find me in either one of the Discords, either Team Serious or United Vindication. Either one, you can find me there. And also just recently got back into streaming, so twitch.tv/XX Tombstone XX and really having a blast there. So thank you guys for showing out.
Take this time to thank both all you gentlemen in here for taking the time out every Sunday and showing me that energy and that positivity, all that good information that just said. Don't worry, we'll have a website entry and I will send a link out. It'll be displayed on the Discords. You be an easy way to find all these gentlemen and what they're doing, what they're up to. Again, get involved in the community. !Discord in the chat will put you into the Team Series Discord. You can reach out on the show notes and we'll have the link to UV's Discord as well. As like Tombstone said it the best, we're two different communities doing different things. At the end of the day, we're kind of intertwined with each other. So major shout out to UV and everything they're doing. Fantastic people over there. Going back to tournaments, !Battlefy in the chat will put you out to the Battlefy Team Series page to check out every tournament. It's already has beautiful date and time. Please read the rules. You know how many questions we get that you can literally just look at the page and answer yourself by reading everything on the page.
Please read the rules. Please.
There's a description, there's rules, there's a link to the Discord. You literally, people will ask the same question. They could have just taken 5 seconds to read the page and they could answer it themselves.
I feel
Major shout out to everybody that always participates in the tournament. Shows I love administrators, moderators, and anybody in between, marketing team, hashtag Twitter Training, stay humble. We out here, y'all. And then getting back to today's sponsor, GamerGrind, !GamerGrind in the chat will put you to the Team Serious affiliated link. If you use code TS and DFW at checkout, you get a good, nice little 5% discount on your next coffee order. And it'll help support Team Serious and, help you bring more of these tournaments and more of these podcasts. I appreciate everybody being out here today and showing us that love. Major shout out to both of the communities. And thank you so much, gentlemen. And remember, stay serious. Have a good rest of the week, y'all.
See you guys.
Don't forget to shower.